Hey everybody, welcome back once again to the channel. I've got some miscellaneous X231 odds and ends to wrap up in this video. Nothing real major, but I do need to get this bevel gear cross shaft area sealed up, so I've started by taking the brake plate out of this side. I have that on the bench right here, along with the selective thickness shim and gasket pack. And I also removed the studs that I had been using to do all this fitting. These are the production 445 studs, 1/2 by 13 on each end. And while they would work, they are not true, right, and proper studs for X231. These are the correct X231 studs. They were 1/2 by 13 on the end that engages the case threads, and 1/2 by 20 on the end that has the nut that goes on to hold the plate on. So you'll notice we have 2 longer studs and 1 somewhat shorter one. The 2 longer ones go back here and up here. The shorter one goes in front because it needs to be recessed in a bit more to make clearance for that brake linkage. It's going to come through this hole right down here. Back to the bench now though. The first order of business is going to be installing the oil seal into the brake plate, and we have a CR number 28686 seal. These will also work for the production 445s, as all these dimensions are the same. And these seals I'm just going to drive in by hand. I could use the press, but it's one of those things I just don't feel like it today. These are pretty easy to stay on top of anyway. Keep straight, just make sure the lip is pointed the correct way. I'm not going to stop until I get all the way to the bottom of that bore. So the seal went in well, and it looks good. Happy with that. Next step now is to get the studs installed for this side. I have them double nutted already so that I have a provision for a wrench to go ahead and tighten them in. And I'm also going to apply some of my favorite sealant to the threads, because those are not blind holes, they are through holes into that oil compartment, and it'll just help to prevent any oil seepage from coming on down past those. Pretty simple here, just put the correct length studs in the right holes and you'll be good, no problems. Run them most of the way in by hand, the ratchet on, and just bottom them in the threads. With all the studs installed now, I'll put the gasket and shim packs back in, and as long as you keep these stacks in the same order as they were upon disassembly, all of the gear settings should stay intact. Okay everybody, if you came here for entertainment, this is where you're likely to see it. It's time to put the brake plate back on. I've got the lip of the seal greased up. Drain hole must face toward the bottom, very important. I need to protect the lip of the seal against these splines that go all the way around this bull pinion stub. So what I'm going to try, set that plate down, is to use some very thin coil shim stock to wrap around those splines and hopefully protect the seal. Now, a guy like me that's usually all thumbs anyway, this could get interesting. Get this in place. See if I can cone it down a little bit toward the outside to start the seal on a little better. And I know I'm going to bump the camera, so if it starts vibrating around, you know why. Okay. Try and get that shim stock inside the seal lip. There we go. Ah, man. Drain holes on the bottom. Keep the coil tight. And just try and slide it on. So far so good. Okay, I'm just starting on the studs right now. Trying to keep it from pulling the shim stock in with it. Patience and take your time. Everything will turn out fine. There we go. See if I can work that shim stock out. Well, hopefully the seal is still good, huh? All that's left to do now is tighten the nuts down securely and repeat all of these steps over on the other side. And then you hope it doesn't leak. Alright, a quick update. I put this other side in off camera, and I'm telling you guys, you really missed something. I didn't have to fumble with that shim stock. Coiled that around there, slid that thing on. It was like 10 seconds right on, shim stock out, tightened down. I mean, it was just, it was really a thing of beauty, if I do say so myself. And I didn't even have the camera on to catch any of it. So, you know, the world missed it. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But just about done sealing this up. But the last thing I need to address is this opening right here. It's where the bull pinion rides on the differential cross shaft in there, and this can seep oil between those bushings and out the end of here. So to seal those up, you just use a couple of these. They're just a 2 3/8 inch diameter Welsh plug, expansion plug. There's lots of different names for them, and Minneapolis-Moline really doesn't even have a part number for them. We'll look in the book right here. Item number 11 way out there on the end, and 11 just says plug expansion 2 3/8 inch diameter, and they give you an old obsolete General Motors part number, GM 172599. So nothing special about it, guys, just a 2 3/8 diameter plug. Now this is something else that I really don't have much of a graceful way of installing. You pretty much just set it in the board and you start flattening out that convex face, and it just expands out into place. Another thing I want to point out, I did put a little bit of sealer around the recessed shoulder inside here. That can sometimes be a hotly contested topic online here, whether or not to use sealer with these. I'm choosing to do it in this application. It's not like we're dealing with a pressurized system that's going to be exerting force on it. I just need to keep those oil seeps from getting in this brake compartment. So with that out of the way, just go and get it started in. Then I'll just begin dimpling it with a hammer, at least until it holds itself in place. Try not to hit my finger. There, it should hold itself in place now. I'll just finish flushing it off with this flat face driver. With these, you really want to get them just about as close to being flush with the end of this bull pinion gear as possible, because there's not a lot of room between the brake plate that covers this and the end of that shaft. So I'll just check it with a straight edge, and it is pretty darn good. Repeat for the other side. Just doing one final check over here. This side is good as well. So that means I've got the differential and cross shaft fully sealed up, and I've hit a milestone. That's as far as I want it to go on this rear end until I can start getting this live power shaft and PTO clutch sorted out. And before I can start doing that, I need to get the entire transmission put together. So I'll be moving on to the transmission part of it next, since that long live power shaft passes through this assembly as well. It doesn't pay to start doing any work on the clutch part back there until I can get the support for that shaft basically installed and completed inside this transmission housing. So this is next. We'll start throwing some gears in there, then work on the high-low range torque amplifier unit after that, and then work on sealing up that bell housing. So guys, I'm gonna call this video quits right here again too. Been a long night. It's getting close to midnight. It's time to go in the house. So as always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I hope to see you back again.